So this will just be a behind-the-scenes making of video of Designated Survivor, my contest entry into the 2018 Why Are You an Antinatalist contest. Thank you to Forever Will Films for holding yet another Antinatalist video and essay contest. It's what got me to start an Antinatalist channel in the first place last year. Also thanks to everyone else who made videos, or anyone who commented on my video, or gave it a thumbs up, or voted for it for the contest. I really appreciate it. Heck, even if people who thumbed it down, I appreciate you taking the time to watch it. Like I just gave a thumbs down to John Venus because he's promoting veganism, but also natalism, as if the two positions can coexist, which they can't. But I still watched the video all the way through and added to his view count. But really who I have to thank the most is Lone Signal for their amazing song. I knew as soon as I heard it that it was the one. So I got the idea for this video shortly after the 2017 Why Are You an Antinatalist contest. I wanted to see if I could do an antinatalist video showing why I am one without actually narrating or putting in words, so just using images. So a music video seemed like the best format to do that. So once I figured out what song it was, I would just drive to work and listen to it and think about the lyrics and the flow of the song and try to imagine some interesting visuals that I could film in my area to go along with it. I didn't get a lot of comments on this video, but one of them said, "Even the softest landing on Earth contains death," which was my point exactly. We're all born to suffer and die. Even though it's one of my shortest videos, it used the most footage. My first timeline was around 45 minutes in length and had to be cut down to 4 minutes from there. That's the thing about music videos, is they're a short subject, but they contain a lot of cuts. A typical music video may cut every half second or so. I knew I was going to have to film a lot of stuff. Also, the little skits and moments that I wanted to film for this would have made it more of a narrative, but I realized when I put everything together that I had more than enough footage. So the problem then became deciding what to keep and what to cut. So I thought it'd be interesting for this video to just kind of show some of the stuff that got left out and elaborate on what I was trying to do with each segment. Okay, so we start out with this "It's a Boy," obviously a birth announcement balloon, and my fucking neighbor actually tied this to my mailbox. Of all the mailboxes he could have tied it to. I don't know if mine is the tallest or why he did that. It's kind of a dick move though, especially if he knew how I felt about it. But in a way, I should thank him because they made the perfect intro and outro to this video. And it's not any of my neighbors having kids, it's actually their kids having kids. So unfortunately I'm seeing like all these strollers go up and down my little road. At least two of my neighbors have grandkids at this point. And then we cut to these shots of leaves, and you can hear children playing in the background. And that's also another thing that made this song so perfect. It's so haunting. And so my idea for this opening segment was to just show lots of playgrounds. And I did go around and shoot a lot of playgrounds. But as I was editing it, it was too much. I'm like, how many playgrounds do you have to see before you've seen them all? They're all basically the same. You got the swing set, you got the monkey bars. I mean, what else? So I had to break it up with just something a little more atmospheric. And this ended up actually being the very last stuff I shot for that reason. And it was just usually rainy days depress me, but this was just a really pretty rainy day. There's a lot of color. The sun was still shining through a little bit. Damp objects obviously have a lot of reflection to them, so they're more visually interesting. So I thought this would be kind of a good way to introduce it, show how peaceful things are without people, without animals, without suffering. And then I also cut in a few shots of my property, just to kind of show this peaceful quiet. And then finally we get to the playground shots, and that first shot of a swing is actually on my property. Of course, the previous owners of this house had 3 kids, and I haven't bothered to cut down the swing, so yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And then this one with the chain link fence is a church that's just a couple miles from my house, and I pass it every day on my way to work, so yeah, just when no one was there, I just captured it. Okay, so then this was at the mall. This was the biggest mall in my area. It's just kind of ironic that you have these sculptures of animals, and this toad is about to kill a snail. But yeah, this is a children's toy, so they can like jump on the frog's tongue. And so the line in the song is "this catastrophe," and by that I don't mean children, I mean procreation. Really the focus are these idiot parents hanging around here. And my God, this was so loud, like you could hear this throughout the whole mall where these kids are screaming at each other. So this was a one take and done shot, because I realized making this video and making previous videos that, at least where I live, security is just going to be on your ass if you go anywhere and try to guerrilla record stuff. That's why most of the stuff in this video is shot from the exterior. And even with that, I still got accosted by security personnel. So, yeah, especially when you're filming people's kids, like, I just kind of made it look like I was fudging with my camera, as I just knew the shot was going to be perfect. I would only have to do it once, and it worked out. I'd gone to this mall to shoot this motherhood maternity store. I was just racking my brain, how can I show motherhood without actually filming mothers? Because I would have liked, for this video, of course, I would have liked to have gone into cancer wards, burn units, nursing homes, and filmed actual people and shown more of what the suffering is all about. So, I apologize, I had to be mostly implied in this video, but it was just impossible. There's just no way you can walk into these places and just record them. I mean, I could have maybe gotten permission and done something more elaborate, but, is it really worth it? I mean, I think the message got across in this video, at least I hope it did, just with what I had. So then I got some stuff of all these McMansions and subdivisions going up around me. God, they're everywhere. I mean, I think there's 5 just within, like, the first few miles of me driving away from my house. And, when I was growing up, my neighborhood was on what used to be farmland, and between every house there used to be a farm. And now all those farms are gone, and between every house, there's like 2 or 3 more houses. I mean, people who don't believe in overpopulation are just have not lived, or they're just totally ignoring what's going on around them. I mean, I've lived in the same area my whole life, and you can just see it. You just see there's no farmland left. It's all these fucking McMansion subdivisions. So this is just, I guess, kind of the overpopulation part of the video, just showing that just more people just creates more crap, basically. More shit, more piss, more sewers, more use of electricity, more burning fossil fuels. It's just a fucking disaster. And then we come up to the only stock shot I used, which was a drone shot going over a neighborhood. I was really looking for a good neighborhood that had, like, a row of like 50 houses that would look really impressive, but I couldn't really find what I was looking for, so I had to use that stock shot. One of the things I shot for this that I didn't include was, besides showing suburban sprawl and all these McMansions going up, I also wanted to show the biggest mountain where I live, because I live in a really flat area. It's a landfill, and right next to it they have a really giant composting spot also, and just bulldozers moving garbage around. So I thought that would be a great thing to put in, but in the end it just wasn't working. Like, I just didn't know if anyone would get it, and people could say, like, well, why are you showing a hill? Unless I would have gotten footage of, like, the seagulls and the garbage. It just didn't work out. And this was the one that was actually one of the biggest pain in the asses to get, because security tried to detain me. I mean, I was not there. I was there for minutes, just a few minutes. Like always, I tried to do it as fast as possible, and they were on me. They just came out of nowhere and, like, hey, what are you doing here? I couldn't even explain to them. I'm like, I'm a videographer. I'm just shooting some video, taking some photos. For what? Asking all these questions. So I just started to ignore them. I threw my camera, my tripod in the trunk. I'm like, don't worry. Never going to see me again, buddy. And just got out of there. It's probably good to have some kind of lie ahead of time doing this kind of thing. But, just say you're a photographer. And, what can they do? I mean, it's private property. I mean, the best thing is to not go on private property if you don't have to do it. Even though I am a customer of these people, I give them my money to take my garbage every week. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you go anywhere that's private property, they're probably going to give you some shit for it. That's why a lot of the time I just do drive-by filmmaking, where I'll have my camera on a little tripod, and I'll just stick it out the window and film something that way. It's much easier. And then this ambulance was just kind of one of those happy accident shots that occur a lot in this video, where I was just driving around. I was looking for a nursing home, and this nursing home, this is what happened a lot in this video. It was like, I would look up something on Google Maps and be like, oh, this is going to be great. I'd go there, and the business either was really boring, no signage, or I went to one hospice, and it wasn't even there anymore. There was a new business in its place. So there's a lot of driving around in this video. Yeah, so this shot of an ambulance, at least I got the shot of an ambulance, since the nursing home, like, there's no signage, there's no old people, there's no wheelchairs, there's nothing that would have made an interesting shot, but at least I got this out of it. And, again, like, I was going to shoot more funeral homes, but I realized once you have one, I mean, you've seen them all, basically. If you've ever been inside a funeral home, they're basically all the same. And Brookdale is a chain of senior living. You know, they go anywhere from just independent living where they can come and go as they please to, you know, more Alzheimer's type care. My mother happens to be in a Brookdale, not this one in particular, but another one in another city. I mean, if you keep your eye out for them, they're everywhere, at least where I live. And this adult foster care is a place just right by me. And, you know, finding a cancer center is not difficult. I mean, they're almost everywhere. This one is one that was in the same facility as my where I got my vasectomy. But, you know, I typed in cancer into Google Maps and they just popped up all over the place. Maybe I could have shot a few more of them, and again, I would have liked to have gone in, but it's just not worth it. And you know, the emergency room would have been a great place to film too. But so this is another one of those places that I got chased out of by security, and I was there, gosh, 10-15 minutes at most, because I'll show you some footage while I'm talking. There are other parts of this facility I went to, and I was considering going inside, but no, security was right on me. It's outrageous, and I could see them pulling up to me, so I haven't got in my car, and I drove off. I'm like, well, once I'm out of here, out of their jurisdiction of the parking lot, there's nothing they could do, so I just got the fuck out of there. It's just really annoying. I don't think there's anything they could do, but it is private property, so they could probably ask me to leave if they want to. I mean, I was pretty obvious. I had a tripod and all that stuff. So here's a part where the video diverges a little bit from just me out shooting things. And this is where it gets more personal. So this is my family home, which I just sold. Oh, it's probably been about 2 years. And, you know, with my father dying and my brother dying and my mom going into assisted living, then I had to sell the family home, and that was just, you know, one thing on top of all of it that was really stressful for me. And, you know, I mean, I knew this day was going to come at some point. I just thought, you know, both my parents would be dead when I sold it. You know, it would have been nice if my mom could have stayed living there, but she just couldn't live alone anymore. So some of this footage is of me. So this is old Super 8 footage of the house. For anyone who doesn't know what Super 8 is, that was what we used before video cameras, or handy cams, camcorders, that kind of thing, video. It was an actual film camera with really tiny film, 8mm, but it's Super 8 because it could also have audio. Super 8, I think, was slightly bigger than traditional 8mm film as well. And the way we cut it is use a razor blade and Scotch tape, basically. So to record this stuff, I had to hook it up to a projector and project it against a wall I had painted white, and just set up my video camera and just recorded it. I mean, that's really how the professionals do it too, you know, because film scanning equipment is really expensive. So these next bits of footage are for me doing just my final walkthrough. I just put on my camcorder and you know, just in case, just to shoot the whole film the last time we walked through it. And, you know, it was also just kind of a bittersweet memory for me, because this is the last time I'm going to see the house I lived in for about 25 years. I decided to live at home while I went to college, and saved me a lot of money. But my parents were there for 30, almost 40 years they were there. And here's some more Super 8 footage. That really is my dad, and that's actually my brother there in the foreground. I'm in the background, if you could see me. But I don't think anyone watching the video would know that that's not me. And then this shot up here is me. That's my old bedroom. It's just really weird seeing it completely empty, you know, without this blue carpet that I lived with for my entire life, my entire early life, my childhood. That's just a usual activity I would be doing, is reading on the floor. And so the lyric here is, I felt as lonely as my father did while he raised his lonely kid. And I always, even though I had a brother and, you know, parents, I always felt pretty lonely and shy. You know, and kids who are that way usually end up being depressives, which I am. So a lot of the footage in this video ended up coming from this pet cemetery. This one is only a few miles from my house, but I'd never gone to it before. I'd read about it in the paper, because some veterans organizations really put a lot of money into it, and you can tell when you go there. I mean, it's got lighting, it's got 24-hour security, a brand new parking lot, and the reason is because a lot of Vietnam vets had war dogs in the Vietnam War. And this is just a little known fact, but the United States military, the Department of Defense, said that you're leaving the dogs. They left 4,000 dogs just there. They just left them. Most of them died, I'm sure, without anyone to take care of them. And you can just, I mean, it's just so traumatic to even think about that. But imagine how it was for those guys who had to leave their best friend. I mean, I don't know if I would have left. So they put together, you know, I mean, you can tell this monument cost some real money to have like a Vietnam memorial wall, just like they do in Washington, D.C. for all of the humans who died over there. But this was one for the pets, and it just happens to be in Michigan for some reason. And I think they just picked this cemetery because it's been around for a long time. It's one of the nicer ones, and had room to put their memorial in it. So a lot of these graves you can tell are pretty old, but then there's a ton of new ones too, like really fancy ones. So I didn't really plan on using so much footage from this place, but it all affected this. I was there totally alone, and just the experience really affected me. So I ended up putting more footage from this place in this video than I expected. So this was the very first shot of this video that I filmed. So this took me about 3 months to put together. I started in, I want to say, June, and filmed stuff up until September, I want to say. And this was just one of these, I see these a lot where I live, these roadside memorials where people have been killed. I mean, that was probably the tree that killed this person. Usually that's what it is, someone who runs off the road into a tree and dies. And the reason I shot this first was because I knew these weeds would grow up over it and you wouldn't be able to see it. And most of the other ones around here are by the highway. Obviously those are some kind of highway collisions, and it would be very difficult for me to get out of the car and film them. And even this one, like you see a shot of the road, these cars are going 55 miles an hour, so this was probably one of the most dangerous shots I had to do for this video. And here's where the song just really kicks in and just gets so good you could cut almost anything to it and it would look great. So yeah, this is just some more War Dog memorial stuff, and you know, they also had a memorial for one of the volunteers who put a lot of time into it, which was nice. I don't really know what his backstory is, and I've talked about, you know, bicycles in other videos. That this one just affected me just because it happened just down the road from where I live. A bicyclist was killed, and you know, I don't want to blame the victim, but he did do some things that were just not very smart. You know, he was riding at night, riding with traffic. I guess you're supposed to ride against it so they can see you more. He wasn't wearing bright colors, didn't have a light on his bike or anything, and he got creamed. And it was just around a corner where the guy coming around the corner just did not expect a bicyclist to be in the middle of the road and killed him. So, you know, that's the thing. When people think, oh, well, there's only one victim here, you're forgetting about the person who killed him. I mean, you think they wanted to have a human death on their conscience? Of course not. You know, so this is just a tragedy for two people and everyone they know. So I really like this organization, Michigan Ghost Bikes, that they just take an old bike, paint it white, and then put a sign next to it just to remind people, hey, if someone died here, you might want to slow down and look out for bikes. And I thought this was really touching. I mean, this is just an example of like how well this dog cemetery, and there's cats there too, so the pet cemetery is really kept up. I mean, you've got flowers, and you know, someone left a pack of cigarettes for their best friend. And yeah, this is probably my favorite edit of the video. I just noticed when I was going through the pet cemetery that this one grave only had a silhouette of what looked to be a German Shepherd, and it just reminded me of my dog, Azrael, and especially just, you know, those triangular ears that just stick up. So I had a shot of him already, but I just had to reverse it so I could get it to match the gravestone. And it's also one of the hardest for me to watch and I rewatch this video, because obviously it makes me think of him dying, which I never want to think about my pets dying, even though it's inevitable. And so this goes into a sequence of animals. This is all footage I shot last summer at Sappheiros Animal Sanctuary. That's just a great place to go to because it's animals who would have been killed, tortured and killed for their eggs or meat, and they get to live out their lives in about as peaceful a setting as you could possibly give them. You know, they don't have to entertain us in the zoo either. You know, they do have these events where they let people come pet them and stuff, but it's pretty rare. They only do it like twice a year. And, luckily a lot of these animals are very friendly to humans. And then, I just want to show all sorts of different kinds of animals, like chickens and pet animals and horses. And then juxtapose that with what we do to them that people just don't even think about. And this, shooting in a supermarket was another thing that I thought was probably going to be a real pain in the ass. That's why you can tell the footage is not as quality, because I shot it with my phone. And anytime I can make it look like I'm just holding my phone and not recording, I'll try to do that, because I really don't like confrontation, getting kicked out of places. It's just not a fun experience for me. So I just filmed this really quick, and I was in and out of there within 5 minutes, I think. Yeah, and then this is probably the highlight of the video, this filming of the memorial. You can see how big it is and how big of a piece of stone it takes to put 4,000 names on them. And yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of war dogs buried here. And then at the end, I'm just doing a very obvious juxtaposition between creation of life. Here's the end product, graves. And then we just end on the balloon again, which, again ended up just being something I didn't plan at all. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little behind the scenes video of what it kind of took to make this thing. And I guess let me know, if you like those kinds of videos, set to music or not, or if you prefer more, talking philosophical type videos. Okay, thanks, bye.